Hello, good evening to all my friends and subscribers. How are you doing, guys? How have you made it out today? Today was so hot. In the evening, it was just the same. And can you see, I'm just coming on. I said everybody wants to cool off today, you know? So here, Auntie D says, let's you come and have a little talk with you guys, we're all one big family. So, we don't keep away. That girl, Maddie, good evening. How are you? How are you? How are you doing? How are you laughing at me that you caught me? You caught me? Maddie, the day was hot. Right now I have to be running the AC because if you turn it off, you just take the heat take time and come up again. How are you doing? Where how are you doing? Hi Fabian and Suzette, good evening. Happy to see you guys. Happy to see you. Welcome to the live. So Maddie, how is the heat where you are at? Are you feeling any heat? Or was it a cool day today? I imagine most persons had a very warm day. Yeah, welcome to the live, guys. Welcome. Most persons would have had a very warm day. It rained. Oh, so it would have been much cooler then. Today was in the 90s. But I survived, and we all survived. But it was really warm. Really warm. Yeah. Oh, let me take a sip of my water. I'm not keeping the water very far. Yeah, I have to have my water, man. Yes, I'm keeping the water very far. Susan is saying, yes, my day was hot, but I went. That is beautiful. You went to the beach. Whoa, a girl. I was riding a mini bike, smaller version of a motorcycle with my friend, and it started raining. Okay, so you had to curtail the trip. Okay. When it's hot, when I'm back home, in my country, and it's hot like this, we go to the beach, man, and cool off. That's the only way you can feel nice. Go to the beach and get some of that salty air over your body and the salt water, you know. But I've not gone anywhere here since I've been here. And I'm not a pool person. I'm really scared of pools. There are too many persons I know who pools are not one of my take. So I stay far from pools. But some people manage it. Yeah, so, you know, I won't say, okay, so because it was raining, it would not have been safe because you'd be getting wet and maybe the road would have gotten a little slippery. You know, when the road is wet, bikes tend not to do very well. I don't know here, but when the road is wet, it doesn't make sense because I think a bike is not finished making because you're going to get wet somehow. And when you're going around a corner, it has a way of wanting to slide, you know. So it would have been safer to postpone the riding until after it finished raining on another day. Yeah, so I'm happy for you guys. And I don't wait, because I I don't want to do a very long live. I don't like when the live go for an hour. When I push it to 2 hours, I end up being feeling very drained. And I don't like a person, my friends or my visitors or my well wishers or my supporters or subscribers to be fearful that when they come, I'm going to hold them beyond the time that they would want to be. So I always tell myself, be to the point so that they can also leave without being sorry that they had come because this lady is babbling and babbling and babbling. Okay, so let me get to the point. Who come, they can fall in. Guys, I noticed this morning, I didn't hear it in the news, honestly. I don't know if you did, about the earthquake. Have you seen my tackle? What did you hear about the earthquake? Did you hear about it this morning? I didn't see it until today, about near to midday, in the papers. And it was said to be a very big one, 8.8. I've never, and not no portion of damage or loss of life. So I would say, I said we could talk about it, and it was so, what should I say, super big, because it was out there in the ocean, out there, happening and doing all its things. And I'm happy that God didn't make any ship passing anywhere near there. You see? And it resulted in, okay, Fabian, my daughter just told me, yes, when I saw it, I held my breath. Because I said, these things, when it is so big, it will cause, a lot of damage and loss of life. But the God that we pray to and serve, He hears the cry of everybody, even if you don't cry out, your heart. You know? But when I read the thing, 8.8, and it was out there in the ocean, it was a Russian, was it to Russia? I'm fine, Anita. How are you doing? Welcome to the live. Happy to have you. I hope you stay sometime so we can have a nice little discussion. So, it didn't affect Russia, and it shook Russia too, parts of Russia. And it also had large tsunami waves from there. Look where Russia is, guys. Look where in the world. Imagine that huge place. And it traveled to Hawaii and parts of California, the waves. But God was so good that those waves it's no longer a threat. And although it got there, it didn't give any effect. Thank you for the emojis, guys. Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much. And hello too. So I'm just saying that we could talk about it, because this, I've never heard of one so big, and yet no loss of life. No loss of life. And is it that we are good, or is it that persons are always praying? God is always listening. He's always hearing. And I said to myself, I was about to read further when I saw it, that there were so many things that happened. And I don't know if my eyes didn't see right, guys. So that's why I said, let me come and share it, and we talk about it. Look where Hawaii is. Hawaii, the same Hawaii. And look where California is. And it traveled over in the oceans. What if it had not gotten weaker? So that what if it was coming with that still force? You know how many loss of lives could have happened along the way? Look where Hawaii is to us too. Yeah, it tells me that every day, every morning when we wake up, we should first thank the Lord. We shouldn't just get up and about as if, we have to. Because I reflected also on the Texas flooding. If those people had known, that's how I think, they would not have gone anywhere near there. Much more so, they camped along the river. Listen, sometimes some things happen. Only God can, they camp, because I read where they camped along the riverside. That's where my daughter living in Texas. Where the water, where they had the flood. Oh my. God hear the prayer of the sick. He hears everybody's prayer. You understand me? And I imagine when people go to camp, they always like to go where you have water, like river. And I imagine how the river was looking so appealing and nice and cool. And they would have done something there. Start something and enjoy a little and say, oh, tomorrow. Well, and in the night, not even a good 4 hours. And some of them were gone to bed. I don't even think they were able to even turn. When the water sweep on them and sweep them away, I don't think they were able to say, nothing. Because it was so powerful. It's not like you're here and you could get up and run. They were already half asleep and it was coming with such force. Take them away, gone. And then this come now. this quake. So I said we could talk about it a little. What could persons have done? Okay, Steve and say that that's where her daughter is living. Right, and California. I know I've always heard that California has a lot of quakes regularly. I don't, but down there they have a thing which is known as the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire. We have multiple. That's what I read. Sorry, multiple quakes. So the quake happens so regularly down there that it becomes a norm. But tsunami is not any norm to me. So whenever I think of tsunami, I remember the very first one they had was it Indonesia, the Christmas that was in December, the day after Christmas, I think, or the day after Boxing Day. One of those. It was very close to Christmas, and people were just having a good time. And then by the time they realized they were surrounded by these massive waves and sweep away everybody and people and vehicle and building and everything, and went so far inland. You know, wow. When I read this thing, guys, the place where I sit, I cringe. I said, Lord Jesus, 8.8. And it was very broad. Anything can happen anytime. But the reality is, when you're actually hearing about it and visualize it, and we know the dangers that it brings, it's just within seconds, not even minutes, but seconds. So when I see, to me, I'm thinking that with this thing happened just yesterday, basically, when they were probably having night. It always comes in the night part. The Bible tells you about those things that walk in the night, pestilence. Um, it, I don't know, it, it, it amazes me, believe me, to see something as that could have taken away persons' lives. When I heard of California, where the tsunami water reached, and up in Hawaii, you know, we have to look into ourselves, and when we are going, that's when we are going separate and apart. But every day we have to hug our people, them. We have to hug our people and love them more because you will, you may not get to come back home to even say bye or anything. Along the way, in your bed, you are on the road someplace, and this thing come and just sweep you away, right? So this huge thing, huge wave coming, out there in the ocean. So that is the water that came up, that is what pushes it, that came out of the earth. That's what it pushes it such a far away. So what if it was much more heavy, like a 10? Maybe the water would reach New York too. We don't, I mean, I'm not trying to exaggerate, guys, but maybe we don't know. We don't know because I never hear for 8 and there's no damage. Nothing to speak of, no deaths. And I said, what if something happened and they don't want us to know? But why would they keep it quiet? It's already known. People are looking at, maybe there must have been some little damage, but nothing. Hi, Tetla, good evening. How are you? I'm trying to enjoy the little coolness. And I say, I have to come on this evening and talk a little about the earthquake. I don't know if you look at the title. What would they say when we are experiencing it? We should stand stand in the doorway and hold on. But guys, remember that in my country, we can say that because we don't really live into buildings that have maybe say 2 floors, but most of the time it's single. One, what you call it, just one flat. And in these developed countries, the buildings are so high rise. So you're maybe on a 20 floor, 25 floor, and you feel it. Are you going to feel comfortable to to run to the doorway and hold your hand like this firmly, or you're going to run, try to escape the building. Because oftentimes I see people trying to escape the buildings, because they don't want, nobody wants to bury alive. No, they don't want the building to crumble on them, like what I saw over in Asia. Some of those, somewhere near, is that Malaysia? One of those Asian places that I remember. When this huge building and kind of something crumbled down and, the construction side collapsed. People were on it and everybody had to run. But there were some deaths and a lot of damage. But this one, so big and no deaths. Not that we want to hear people die, but with what has happened, I mean, we have to say pray. Even though we were not there to experience it, we have to say pray for each other. And there's a verse in the Bible, I don't know where it is in the Psalms, that when we go separate and apart to be, God is to be there with us. We are together now. And in another minute, anything can happen. I know a person's driving, they are not very far from their homes, yet an accident happened and claimed their lives. Just within meters from their house. As if you were not to go back home. You understand me, guys? The devil is on borrowed time, and he knows. So he does some things that I believe, for us to blame God. Parents and children turn against each other. Children and their brothers and sisters unaliving each other. Sometimes when I see the news, sometimes I don't even want to hear it. But the one that I noticed yesterday again, where sister set up, somebody to unalive another sister. Father and son have it out. Son killed father over land. Some things, it's troubling. But how are we going to go through these things? So let me hear what would you do if you should experience a quake? Mark, guys, let me tell you the honest truth. I remember experiencing one in 2020, January, when COVID was about somewhere about the February, March, back home. And believe you me, I run under the table. I push out the chair, run under the table and stoop down the dining table. Because I couldn't go under the bed. These beds now, they don't make them very high. I couldn't go on the sofa because it's not very high for me to go under. So I had to push out the chair and then I said, what if the roof, which is decked, should collapse and drop on the table? It would break it, but I couldn't see myself standing in the doorway. And I didn't want to run out because I don't know if I run out the earth open. You don't know what may happen. So I went under a table. And believe you me, I call out to God. If God was a mile away, the way me call him. You see, I was walking in the house and then I walking and I could not lift my foot to make the next step. It's like me said like this and I walking. And me still going like this. And I said, what is going on? Then I see the building start rock. Believe you me, me could only run under the table because if I didn't run under it, I would run out of the house too. And you're running out into more danger. So me run under the table. Me run under it. And people were in supermarket. Everybody run out. I hear people talk, say, them run out. Because it's something that makes you scared. Hi, Ubi girl. Welcome to the live, Ubi girl. How are you doing? Have a happy evening. Happy to see you. You give me a high and buy. Look, no, nobody give me no high and buy. Unlike condone. No, you better stay a little and tell me what you know about earthquake, right? Before you even think of running. You come to me and say you're done and like. That means you're going to run. Don't bother run. Tell me something about the hurricane, about the quake, the one that was in the news. Maybe you didn't hear about it still, but it is in the news since today. It hasn't been in the papers. It is something to be fearful of. And if you are beside the sea, some people live beside the sea. Yes, it's nice to live beside the sea, but I wouldn't want to live beside the sea because I don't know when the sea is going to get angry and come all in. You know, I don't know. And if you live by the river, you don't know what will happen further on the river, further ahead before it reaches you. Because I learned that most rivers begins in the mountain, and some of it runs through caves. You know, just run straight like that. Sometimes some rivers are hidden, you cannot see it, you go underground and come out someplace else, you know. So it is so concerning that it didn't just stay. And oh, what I was about to say too, when these things do happen, where you see nothing happens, it just give a shaking. In no time, it's going to have an effect. It's going to happen someplace else. As if to say it is running underground, like an electricity. It's running there until it reaches where it wants to do damage. So while it's down there doing its work, we up here on the land, we don't know what is happening down there. Because oftentimes when you hear about it, it's moving, and then you hear something big. Some may say it's the same one, maybe not the same, but really, they say the plates. You have different plates, Caribbean plates, you have different plates. They say the earth is on several plates. So, and some of the plates are sliding. Thank you, but we need to, what would we do? We have to, thank you for the point, Fabian. But Fabian, in your own way, or Suzette, because when I saw the name first time, I think it was two ladies. It's after I watched your videos, I realized, in your own way, how would you, just briefly, right, how would you secure yourself in the event you're in the house? I noticed you like to be in the kitchen too. And you're busy in the kitchen, preparing and setting up. And I see where you, especially I like the soursop juice. I like that one, honestly. And your thing always look well laid out and nice. So, you're there preparing now and setting up to have dinner. And you hear a little rambling. Well, things that will make sounds quickly are like things sliding off. Maybe something slide off some furniture thing and break. Or if you have, what is it now, like cutlery, something somewhere can give sound. You may look around. Or maybe you're walking. But there has to be something that you feel. But some people say they don't feel anything. They just see it happen. What would you do? You're in the kitchen, doing what you're doing. What would you do, Fabian or Suzette? What would you do? Everything is almost finished. The stove is turned off and everything is ready. You have already showered, and we like to shower first, then we have our meal nice. What would you do? Tell me what you do. Boy, so I have company. I will go under the table. I agree with you. And you would stand it because maybe it would be convenient for both of you to be under the table. So you stand in the door jam. Then, boy, I don't know if those door jams are like those back in the Caribbean where they use some solid wood. If you know what I mean. Boy, I don't think I have the courage to stand in the door jam. Is that I may run under the table, or they're going to crawl on my belly, go under the bed. But you see, these beds are not even so very high. That's the problem. Right in your bed. But you see, if you don't have anything under the bed, right bottom, you can slide under quick. But I think being in the kitchen, you're going to be so close to the arm. And the thing is, when this thing is happening, when it's like you can just say, what is that? When the first one, I may not even realize it has anything because I didn't take it for anything. They said the door jam is not safe. I don't believe so because there's something with the pulling, or whatever, and something. To me, you see, if it is like back in the Caribbean, let me say the Caribbean, Hi, Zonas. Good evening. How are you? Welcome to the live. If it's in the Caribbean, where we know we have some strong lumber. You know, when I say strong lumber, lumber. And then I would say, and some type of doors. Then I would say, I would probably go stand in the doorway. But the door is already there and taking up some of the space where I should put my hand. I don't know if when the thing start to vibrate, the door is going to come back. I don't see, sorry, my fingers can go through where the door is to hold on. And if it's just an ordinary doorway without any lumber, it's just a wall. I don't know if the confidence is there. I think I would want to run under the table. So Fabian will be under the table and me coming under the table too. The two of us going to slide under the table. And then to me, the table is tough. So if anything dropped from above, it would probably not break the table so quickly. But what if the thing, boy, yesterday I they have some buildings, so many 20 plus, 20 plus going up. Lord have mercy. And when those things rock, then the two of us would have to be, of course. Yes, and the two you hung up. Wait. That little space becomes, let me just hook up and shut your eyes to make sure you know you're there. But then you look on the other fact again that what if there are children around? You know, so it is it kind of disturbing. Look, and then you're hearing everything dropping off, all the nice meal that you prepare, everything flash off gone, and maybe the pot slide off of the stove, all kind of things happening because the place might, rock. I tell you what, I'm glad God don't treat us like us in this way, but I just feel that something is going to happen. Where it will be happening, I don't know. So we can only pray that it don't happen. But these little things are like teasers. Oftentimes, little things are like teasers. Because if 8.8 is not a big one, enough one to cause any damage, then I don't want to see the other bigger numbers. That would be death and devastation. You understand me? Nothing. So it's to me, we have to just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm too coward. But it's not like when you have hurricane where you can prepare, batten up your places and get some groceries and keep yourself locked up and things. Batten up your windows and so forth. But this is something you can be walking at this minute and it's within seconds it happened and as if nothing has happened. Think buildings collapse onto people. Everybody running out and not everybody can reach outside. Some will be trapped. So you see those high-rise buildings because of space, they carry everybody go up in the sky. You can't even take the elevator to run out, because it's nothing is gonna work within that time. So I just say that we could talk about it. We could talk about it. What we would do. What would you do, Zonas? Let me hear from Zonas. What would you do? I heard from Fabian and Sweet have a plan that I would do too. Anything we push on the chair, them and go under the table. And if everybody else can go, we all will hug up under the table. Because by the time one guy runs through go on the bed, we don't know what can happen. What do you think, Zonas? If you are still here, what would you do in the event of you being, I don't want to say off guard, because no one can prepare for it. If you are at a place or at wherever and you feel the earthquake. We're talking about the one over in Russia. Are you still there? Zonas? Maybe Maddie is not there. I've not heard Maddie. Since you like Maddie. Maddie, you're there still? I don't see you at all. I'm not hearing Zonas. Yeah, just we are talking about it. What would you do, Tetla? Because remember, we whatever we do, we have to have our views, even if the view is not sensible, but we have to show. Yeah, because what Fabian and Suzette would do, I would do the same thing. If it's 10 of us in the house, everybody go and come out and some cannot hold under. And then we take time push something. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Okay, so I say she's eating. Okay, she's eating, so yes, you have food in your mouth. I was just saying, talking about the quake, what would one do? So when you're through, if you can, it would be appreciated. Tetla, what would you do? What would you do, Tetla? What would you do, Tetla? Because we have to do something. And for me, those high-rise buildings that I've been seeing, oh, let's eat. If the quake come, that's what you would tell them. Say, let's eat. If you are experiencing an earthquake while you're eating, what would you do with the food? And what would you do? Because you're eating, right? And you don't want to be disturbed. But you realize that a quake is happening. And you're at the table eating. Are you going to continue eating? Oh, they say we have to keep calm. So how would you keep calm? You would just sit quietly on the chair, stop chew, and listening for any crackling, anything falling off. I want you to tell me, man, I don't want to put things in your mouth. I want to hear what would you have done. But you see, you're eating again, so it's not fair for me to be nagging you while you're eating. It is so I don't know. When it's a tornado and flood in one place, you hear about tsunami and rain and all sort of things in another place. And now we're in the hurricane season. We're in the hurricane season. And when I looked at the weather thing, they had said that, well, all of Jamaica would have been having a lot of rain, all parishes today. Well, I didn't check back tonight to see if it had happened. So everybody, okay, for sure you would not go outside because I remember when they had, I read when in Jamaica, I thought it's 1492 or something, I don't remember though, when there was an earthquake, the Port Royal earthquake. You can look it up for me, guys. I don't remember when it happened. In 1907, I don't remember. The Port Royal earthquake. It had swallowed a man, and spit him out. So that's what they said. I don't know if it's true. And spit him out at another location. So I think that's why it's never yet safe because the earth can open. Because it's quick, the earth is moving, and you don't know at what point where you can go. Tetla says, first we have to be prepared. Look for gas leaking, falling objects. Okay, so you're in your house now, it's a Sunday, right? And you're looking about your rice and peas and your nice dinner, vegetable and juice. And the stove is on, you're not finished cooking. So, right as you feel it, you have to first you have to do thing is to turn off the stove. That is good. And they will already fall in objects because you figure reason or something, some furniture going to shift and something's going to fall. And sometimes you don't feel it because you hear the thing fall. You say, wait, something happened, man. And you may hear again. And if you have grills, I heard it through the grills. If your house is grilled, you'll be surprised. It is scary. You hear that somebody is taking off the grill. Sometimes I say Satan is, you hear the grill giving that sound. Like it's, because it's pinned to the wall. So the thing is moving and it, like it will, man pull off the grill of the building. So it is very, very scary. Very, very scary. Because before you look for falling objects, honestly, you'd have to turn off the stove quickly. Okay, you're back. Okay, Maddie. What would you do, Maddie? In the event of you're okay, let me move away from the host now. You are riding your bike, as you say you were riding today, with your relative also. And you feel something happening and it's a quake. What would you do? What would you do? Would you keep riding the bike? What? And you realize that, because I understand that when you're doing that, if you're driving or moving, it does something to the vehicle, as if it can drive like we want it to drive. It's like something like it would want to have the vehicle just coming like a swing saw. It cannot go fully. So you're riding the bike out there, and that is happening. Are you going to get scared? What would you do? Where would you run to? Because you're going to be out in the open now. I'm so glad that you have the bike to use. You're going to be out in the open. You're on the bike with your cousin. This is happening. Are you going to try to run to ride the bike to go back home? Okay. Tesla is saying, if you are driving, park at a safe place. So I don't know if you have sea where you're living, but a river. For you don't know where anything coming from. So you find a safe place and park. So you could be out on the road, so you look that there's no overhead wires. So guys, as well we're trying to talk about it, I'm still trying to learn it, because there's things that we can do quickly, but we have to move so fast. You know, finding out you're driving, and you because I heard that once you're driving, it's difficult for the vehicle to continue. It's difficult, and I heard too that on the seas, it is more, it's a little bit more dangerous, but it's scary out there, because it's like the water, it's coming from way down, and it's sort of rocking, and it can suck it down, you know. So you're on the road driving or riding your bike, you have to find a safe place. So therefore, you have to look if there are any overhead wires or posts or something. Or if you are driving along the sea, the coast, you have to go. How would you move so fast? Because if the sea is there, like, and you're coming up, you're looking at the sea, and you're feeling it, the vehicle not going to be able to turn around for you to go where you want to go. So, I don't know. Sometimes we have to try have some things in mind, because sometimes we are cornered. We are cornered, and we may not have anywhere to run to. Let us say, when driving the vehicle, moving from side to side, yeah, that's how drivers say it. Say it going side to side, it cannot. Boy, this thing is dangerous. It cannot. It just, because it is moving, it is keep shaking, and you're pushing the gas and push it. Man. Mm-mm. Only I don't know. When I felt it that day, and I realized I was giving. I don't want to look as a joke, but God didn't even know I'm not joking at it. But I did it. I bawled out for God because I was so frightened. Mixed with the cloud with no birds and Jesus. I think some things with me under the same, because having going to church and hear about things that will happen, and the Trump will sound, and the earthquake, a lot of things come in the brain, and start hello, mercy Jesus, something me scream out, because we can't keep it, because me say Jesus come, and all sort of things around, and me holler out, me couldn't stop. I holler because me confused, afraid. I was there alone. Me don't know what. Me just don't know if the building went drop down on my head. Me can't run out. So much things. You want to run, you want to hide, you want to do so many things at the same time. And you can and it's like you're stuck. Your brain blank. Like what? What? And this place shit. No, honestly, it's not a laughing matter. Not a laughing matter. It's a serious matter. It's a life and death situation. It's serious. So I say, Father God, whenever you go to church, the people then preach, especially at funerals, and talk about, and they know this is really happening. A lot of things pass, and when it is over, it has a terrible sound in it. The earth, it gives some sound like, I can't tell you. I can't describe it. It sound like 100 train are come with some whole heap of sound. Because imagine that the earth is shaking, it's trembling. Hi, Ascending Phoenix, how are you doing? You see you're in a color? You were one of those who had gotten the membership. I was closing my eyes and speaking and then realized that, what is this? Cora 1286. So please also visit local and government agencies for information. Yes, that is true. Thank you for that, Cora. Very, very nice. And one can also go online too and get this information. So we are not trying to derail the information is there. We're just trying to reason among ourselves what we do. But on the whole, persons would have, you know, they would have got their relevant information so that wherever it should come happen, they can react to it. But we are just trying to share the experiences we have had before and how we would better, you know, handle the situation if it should happen again. Because we know of some of the things that they say we should do, but still yet, many persons, even they say to go under a table or stand in the doorway, many persons will run out of the building, which we often see in the news. Persons got so scared and panic and they run out, right out. And I imagine some would take the staircase or the elevator trying to run out to go far. So, guys, when it's possible, I respect that point from you, Cora1286. Thank you for the point, right? Yes, thank you. And Ascending Phoenix, happy to see you. Happy to see you. I don't remember being gifted one, but I am well. I hope you are doing well and staying cool. Yeah, that's what um YT has been given membership, right? So I don't know what will happen for August. They give it to sometimes 10 or 5 or 20 persons because I don't know their reason, but that's what I'm told. For some people, I guess most persons would have, but maybe everybody would probably, I've never gotten one. They would not get it maybe at the same time, you know. But I'm happy to see you because you must be wondering how is it that your name is in green, but you know the reason why. So I'm happy to see you. What are your views, Ascending, on what should I say, in the event of you being caught experiencing a quake? What are your views? What would you do? We are sort of reasoning and sharing. What would you do? I'm not picking on you. I don't know if Zona can talk now as she was eating earlier. I don't know if she can talk. We just want to hear. I say what I had done. It may not have been the best thing, but you have been in a few. Oh, tell me about even one of them, man. Share with us even one. Even one. You can share if it's even one. Because I know you're not going to do it. You will not want to share all, but if it's even one. So you can make it interesting, right? We just have a few minutes to go. Okay, Ascending said he has had experienced a few quakes, and he's been inside and outside for them. Okay, when you say you've been inside and outside, you experience it being outside of a building and inside of a building. So, in the event of you being inside now, what did you do? And when you're outside, what did you do? We just want to forget a little more of it. What would you do, Zonas? Can you speak now? Okay, Ascending is saying the bad one I was in was not a true quake, but the earth shook due to a massive explosion. Wow. Wow. Massive explosion. Can you imagine? That must have been very scary. That was not a true quake, you know. So what did you do at that point in time? Maddie is saying that she has never been in an earthquake. And Ascending said, while he was outside, I tried to stay in an open area away from everything. Okay, that's what they say too, you know. But you're outside, you have to move so quickly, right? You'd have to move so quickly to get away from any, and then there might be adjoining buildings close by. You're okay, he's saying that he evacuated the building he was in. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's going to, although they say it must, everybody cannot be in the doorway. What if you're at a mall? Look at a mall and you're shopping. Everybody cannot be in the doorway. There's no table to run under. Everybody's going to want to dash. Dash if or let me say a nicer word. Evacuate. They're going to evacuate the building as Ascending said he did. So, you know, imagine say 100 persons walking through the mall, which you know can be more. And the 100 persons dashing in our direction trying to get away and get outside. So you end up with a stampede. And then whenever you're rushing, everybody panics. So some fall down, some you know, all kind of things happen. Everybody want to go far. Doesn't matter as long as they're outside. Because to be honest, I'm not trying to put fear, but I couldn't just sit there. So Ascending saying that I got into trouble for evacuating the building, but my bosses got into more trouble for taking no action. Oh my. So can you see? So they wanted everybody to stay in the building. So in the event of another, you have to now do what? You have to stay inside the building. You have to stay inside the building because you may lose a job and hoping that your life would be spared so you can be in your job. And if your life is spared and you run outside, you run away, you would be losing your job. Finney said, no, I will always follow. That's, which is normal. It's normal. I believe you, I would have done the same because you would not have been able to stay. Nothing to cover. Everybody cannot go under the same space. And then these buildings are so high. Zonas, what are you trying to tell me now, Zonas? Come and tell me here. Because we have what is known as a gut feeling, you know. You know what is a gut feeling? Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows. I'm listening for you to come, Zonas. Ascending is also saying that I was at the World Trade. I don't say that one was what came to my mind when you said it was an explosion. He said he was at the World Trade Center on 9/11, and I followed my gut that day too. We all have what is known as a gut, deep, deep, and if you don't follow it, it's like it annoys you so much. You have to, and good thing that you did. See what happened? So better that you'd have lost your job and you have your life is spared, that you can even talk about it now. And even then, if something like this should happen again, you're going to follow your gut feeling because it is good to stay to keep the company, covered and attend to. But at the end of the day, you have your responsibility for your life because you may be in the job today and you can be out the next day. And Ascending is also saying that, yeah, can always get another job, right? So the patriotism is not going to be there to withstand because they say do this and you do it, well, you can go under to and lose your life. And you could have, when you look and say, well, I can make an escape here, this is good, and you don't move, you're hurting yourself. So I think you had made a wise decision, and it boils back down to, although some things are right that we need to do, as you say, we have to follow our gut feeling, because at the end of the day, if you are if you don't follow and things do happen and you're alive, you're going to blame yourself if you had done so, right? So each man has to look out for himself. At the same time, you're going to shout. Once you hear somebody say, earthquake, no matter what you're doing, you're going to drop it and run. Very few would do as is suggested. They're going to drop it and run. Running away as fast as possible. But the last one I saw with, was it Malaysia? Somewhere uh, nearby Malaysia, somewhere around that side, where the Asian places. The people were really pressing hard in running. And the buildings were so high. It was so high. So, we are down to a few minutes, about 10 minutes more. As I say, I don't want to hold on people too long. And then the take time start to creep away. And then the hours go. But I must say it, Zonas, I didn't hear from you yet, Zonas. I see you give me the YouTubes. I didn't hear from you. And I said, I didn't want to hear from you too, Zonas. Come on, man. Come on and give us a little. Fabian and Suzette gave this, and we all give a little input. I want to hear from you. What would you do over in the Philippines? What would you do? Because I know sometimes you guys have typhoons, you make preparation. Just like we over in the Caribbean, every year we have what is known as hurricane season, right? So hurricane season begins sometime as early as June, but not all the while they will come to reality. Sometimes they start and they get weakened, but during June to November is normally the hurricane season every year. Some years there are no hurricanes, and some years they are really fierce. And that's why when the time is very, very hot, we get very concerned because the heat is what builds, the hurricane builds on the heat and speed. So the more rain we have, the cooler it is. You won't have much of a hurricane. You won't have any strength. But the less rain, more heat. And then some places have a lot of tornadoes. That is another one again, which is very scary. It can take you up and do things. So we have so many different types of things that as we go along through life, we can talk about them. And by talking, we can go on Google. And as somebody had said earlier in the life, that we can go to different government agencies and get information so we can equip ourselves. But like tonight, we are here sharing things that we had done and what we would do. But to me, no matter what information we have, as Ascending says, there is something within which is called the gut feeling. The gut feeling. And we all have it, but sometimes we pretend and say we're doing otherwise. But when it really strikes, you often have to listen. And most time when you don't listen to that gut feeling, you end up regretting. You know? So I am not going to cut down anybody because that gut feeling speaks. And nobody can tell you that you don't have any gut feeling. That is within each person to make that decision. Boy, you feel it crazy. Come on, come on. And so you're dashing, you're not looking there because you already say, run. Everybody going to run out. Get under the bed, under the table. Oh, if you're not careful, everybody going to try to run the same bed at the same time because they panic. So you try to come and say, under the bed. So run to that bed, run to that one. It's a scary thing. I think it's very scary. So we have to encourage, if we have children in our homes, encourage them, remind them remind them. And then sometimes, the electricity again does cause problems too with that. So I think that's many reasons. That is one of the reasons to why persons would want to escape the building, you know, because fridge may be plugged in and whatever else can be plugged in, and with this thing rocking and jerking, something may just, happen. So whatever we do, we have to build that amount of self-confidence to be able to think, because if within a second something is going to happen, we have to think about it. So you cannot even prepare for it, but at least you can prepare in a certain sense. If it happens and I'm inside here, guys, there may be you have 3 children and the husband and the father 5. If it happens and we're inside, children run on their bed, stay on their bed, don't come out, you know. And they will practice now to know that they should run under the beds. But if you don't tell them anything and they are just coming, they hear and say, "What is it?" And mommy say, "Bed, why are we going to our bed?" Too much time lapse. So you remind them in the event of it, it's something I have put into them to, run under your bed or go on the table. But go on the table, maybe the 3 of them bunk up on the table and the table cannot hold. This one I push, go on, push. When they could just run on the bed and lie down. Lie down until, help come. It's just like when you put yourself under those things for safety and the roof cave in and drop and do all kind of things and you're trapped. And sometimes they do find the people, alive. Sometimes they find them unalive. So it's just like you have to just pray and hope and have your, as Teta had said, don't panic. Because oftentimes we panic and then we can't think. Everything just becomes jumbled and so miserable, right? But at the end of the day, adults are able to do things a little more quicker. The children may say, but they may be watching a game and they don't want to move and realize that they say, "Come, there's a quick." They will act like they don't hear because they're into the game. Or they're enjoying what they're doing, maybe doing their homework. And you have to call, by the time you call 3, 4 times, anything can happen. So you have to teach them again to listen and respond. Because you're in the kitchen cooking, you feel it because you see the things, you hear things, you realize it, and you call to them. They should know. But you have some children you call and they don't answer because they feel that you're going to ask them to do something or you're disturbing them. They are deep into what they are doing when it's life threatening. So you have to teach them now that whenever I call, whatever it is, respond. Respond because I may not be able to even shout 2 times. Somebody can be in the house and just a sudden wave of illness hit them and they're calling out for help and the others aren't where they are, not paying attention. When they realize you become unalive. So you have some people you call it, they don't answer. They don't want you to disturb them and they don't even know what is really happening. It may be a quake, it may be you feeling sick, maybe you fall or hurt yourself, or just about anything. So let us remind our children especially respond to calls in the house because it's a way of us keeping together in the event of any sudden illness or if there's a quake, we know what to do, put it in them. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Donna, did you still want to say something? Thank you for being here. As I said, I would just do the hour, and I don't want to bore anybody for them to be running away when I try to do a live. Sometimes I will go 1.5, 2, but I did an hour today, and I don't want to run too much risk in people getting tired and want to go to their beds. So thank you so much for being here to share this discussion, and I know would have learned something, right? So If you want to, you can still go and look into the Google. Google will give you a lot of things because the days now when people go to a library to take up so many books and papers to read, it's not happening again. So you Google information in your own privacy of your house or your bedroom and just read. Familiarize yourself. All right, guys? Thank you for being here, and I hope we will meet again another time. Have a good evening now. Bye bye.